Well, those dulcet tones of the Chrysler starter signal a comparison test that wasn't meant to be. The 72 Imperial versus the 72 Continental. Had both these two cars in the garage before the snow started to fly and salt was on the roadways, and was hoping to do a comparison test, but I couldn't get it in before the weather turned. Nonetheless, I had to get the snowblower out, and it's parked in by these two huge land yachts. So I got them out, and they don't salt in the subdivision here, so I'll take both cars for just a brief ride around the sub. I can't go on the main roads, but you can see them in a little bit of their splendor. This Imperial is absolutely huge. The 73 Imperial was the longest production sedan ever made. It's the same body as the 72 Imperial. It just doesn't have the chunky bumper guards, which extended the length by a few inches, but it's an absolutely enormous car. Look at that rear overhang. And the rear quarter panel is just immense. But it looks like money, especially when you open the door and see this interior on a 12,000-mile 72 Imperial. I love the black on gold combo. They even have these little matte pockets here in the door that Lincoln would later appropriate on the later town cars. I don't know why they don't open all the way, but they only kind of open partially. In any case, just a stunning design in dark colors. It looks great. A lot of these cars were lighter colors, and I don't like them as much. Obviously here I have two black cars. That was the Imperial. This is the 72 Continental. Coupe, no vinyl roof, no body side molding. Put that Hawaii license plate there because this is always the goon car from Hawaii 5-0 that was driven, aside from the fact that it was a four-door sedan. You can see here no vinyl roof on this car. And no body side molding, no pinstripe. All original paint and interior, 13,000-mile car. Super comfortable on the inside, wonderfully padded seats. Lots of foam in these seats. And a wonderful brocade cloth. You don't see cloth in luxury cars anymore. But we'll get this car out as soon as the spring comes, and we'll take it now for a little drive so you can see it. Well, here is part of the comparison test that never came. 72 Imperial versus the 72 Continental. You'll have to wait till next spring. I just had to get my snowblower out, which was tucked in the garage because we're supposed to have a foot of snow. And I have the Imperial and the Continental in the garage. I was going to do a video before the salt flew on the roads, and unfortunately I didn't make it. But this is the 72 Imperial that has 12,740 miles. This is Sid Mead's former Imperial, the actual car that I bought from Sid Mead. For those who haven't heard of him, an amazing, he called himself a visual futurist, but really somebody whose artwork you would recognize, even if you don't recognize the name. Did everything from the set design on Blade Runner, the movie, to inspiring a lot of the modern sci-fi look. That kind of modern, steam pipey, overly industrial look. Just a wonderful, wonderful artist. And I bought this car off of him. And I've had it, I think, maybe for 4 years now. It was pre-COVID. Time kind of stands still during that whole period. And I love driving it. I call it my best maintained, worst maintained car, because Sid has an inch thick binder of receipts on this car for maintenance, and he tried to do everything religiously. Unfortunately, his mechanic was not very good and was pretty much a hack, even though it was not a cheap mechanic. So when I got the car, the nose of the car was just basically touching the street, because somebody had taken the torsion bar adjustments and put them all the way out. So I looked through his receipt book, and he had replaced the shocks on the car. Maybe it was like he was replacing them every 1,000 miles, and I think they just would blow out because there was no resistance from the springs. So I fixed that. That was a 10-minute fix. The carburetor was all buggered up, so I redid that. The throttle linkage or the kickdown cable wasn't right, so I fixed that. He had trouble with the fan kicking on in this auto temp. This is Chrysler's auto temp 2 system here, and it's nice and toasty warm inside the cabin. But he had trouble with that for a number of years, and really the mechanics didn't do anything. And what needed to happen was the car still had its original auto temp box under hood, which Mercedes, by the way, procured for a number of years for their vehicles from Chrysler. And it was just dead. It has plastic internals, and then after all these years, it has antifreeze running around in it and electronics. So water and electronics clearly mix very well. So in any case, I found a company that rebuilt them. Actually, they talked about rebuilding them for Mercedes, but the guy said, yeah, it's the exact same system. It's actually the Chrysler air temp system. And it was super easy. 4 coolant hoses and a few electrical connections. Take the old one out and put the new one in. Maybe it took me a half hour to do that. And now I've got warm heat. Everything functions. All the blower speeds and the mode door and the air conditioning functions. So done. That was easy. But I love this car. I mean, look at these seats. And you gotta love the Chrysler 440. You know, it just makes great noises. I can't go out on the main road, unfortunately, because there's salt on the main road. They haven't salted this street, so I'm confined to the side streets and just driving around here. But I don't know about anybody else. In the winter time, this is a great relaxation, so long as they don't salt this street. I just go around here in the subdivision maybe once a month, get one of these cars out. It just pains me to see it in the garage because I want to drive it, and obviously I can't, given I don't want it to corrode. But these Imperials, they only made about 12,000 sedans and I think 1,800-ish coupes in 1972, and there are just none left. I really wanted a coupe for years. I always thought the sedan was handsome, and when this one came up for sale, I thought I have to buy it. Especially 12,000 miles, gold interior, black exterior. It's just an awesome color combo, and it's like this greenish gold too. You see, there's the head pillow and the armrest, the rear reading light. It's a hard top, so there's no pillar in the middle. For those who aren't aware, you can see here, I'll put the window down. See, there's no pillar. Great for summertime cruising. Even has the power vent windows. When do you see that anymore? I believe that's actually a GM motor in that power window, that wing window. And this is a GM Saginaw steering tilt and telescoping column on this car. So once the warm weather hits, we'll make sure to do a true comparison of the Lincoln versus the Imperial. But until then, I thought you'd at least enjoy a little ride in the Imperial. These have Chrysler's great floodlit gauges at night. And the Imperial, I have a 72 New Yorker as well. It's got a thicker padded dash. It has this faux, unconvincingly faux wood grain. Ford did really good faux wood grain. Chrysler did not. And it has no turn signals on the dash at all. You put the turn signal on, you hear the blinker. You have to look at the fender tips. So you can see there, left and right. And no, there's no bulb that's burned out on my dash. That's what it says in the owner's manual. I couldn't believe it, because my New Yorker has the fender tip lights, but they also still have a bulb in the dash. Not on the Imperials though. So stay tuned as the weather turns warmer, and we'll do a full detailed comparison of this Imperial versus the 72 Continental. Cars that are similar in size, but very different in many ways. Let's now take a brief ride in the 72 Continental. And here's just a brief video in the Continental with the rolling drum speedometer, you can see. What a smooth ride. The only downside to these cars is the window regulators suck. And the windows are pretty slow going up on all of these, no matter what you do. I guess they don't go up any slower than an 80s era GM car, though. Such a cool speedometer. And a cool turn signal blinker. Very mid-century modern-esque. Very comfortable cabin. Auto climate control. Nice and toasty warm in here. Peppy car too, for as heavy as it is. Low compression 460. In any case, stay tuned as the good weather returns and we'll finish this comparison and make it far more detailed. Hope you all have happy holidays. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and check out the video thumbnails at bottom left and right for some suggestions for you.